swat at it and then miss it, and then this one, ooh, right in there. Okay, yeah, that is substantial. Eat the billy goat. Gargle, gargle, gargle. Yes. That's how we wanted it to go down. On the subsequent cast, come up and get it. That's a nice fish. The narrower the channel, the more aggressive the fish were. They were in there with purpose to eat. Hey folks, I'm going up on the Juanita, and I'm going to a section that I think I've been there twice in the winter at this particular launch. So I know some winter holes up there, but in season, like, I mean, it's August. I just don't have any experience up there. It's one of my least fished areas in the whole Susquehanna watershed, and it's because it's a good long drive. It's almost a 5-hour round trip to get to this area from my home in Maryland, and for that reason, I'm choosing to do an overnight there, where I'm going to stay out on the river. I'm going to stay in the hammock. I don't really know where I'm going to do this, but I've looked at Google Maps, and there's some islands, there's some places I can tuck in, and I'm really just looking to maximize how much fishing time I have. To call it a camping trip isn't really accurate. I'm going to be hammock camping, yes, but camping is usually a series of, you set up a site and you do some cooking while you're there, and I don't know, there's a lot of stuff, and what I'm doing is quick and dirty. Is merely, hey, fish as late as you possibly can and give yourself some daylight to find an appropriate site to set up the hammock. Set it up, go to bed, let the birds wake you up in the morning, and start fishing again. And the purpose of why I'm doing it is just to have more fishing time, and to have this 5-hour round trip kind of count twice. 2 days of fishing for one trip. So that's it. That's what we're doing. So it is, above all else, hot. It's really hot. I think it's a low air quality day. I know before I left home in Maryland, the Baltimore forecast was for it to hit 98. So for sure, I'll be targeting the shade. Some of these, that's a Berkeley Nessie. It's a 5-incher. But yeah, I'm loading up all sorts of stuff here on the kayak to be able to stay out overnight. I'll show you that here in a minute, but I'll give you a snapshot of what the river is like. We've had a rise, which I think was mostly from a thunderstorm, probably overnight the night before. So we've had a little bit of a bump up upstream there's a Mapleton depot gauge. It shows that it's come up twice and coming back down. The local gauge, Lewisburg, is showing it still kind of going up, but that's the slug that is passing by here. And I think I'm going to be on the downslope of a bump from a thunderstorm, or maybe a dam release. There is Raystown Lake above this that, you know, is a dam, and they can push water out of there whenever they damn well see fit to push water through. So that being said, there's not a lot of unless there's a really big thunderstorm, which we do have storms forecasted. I don't see them pushing a lot of water through, but that's going to come into play later when I select a site to set up the hammock to sleep in tonight. We'll talk about that later, but let's finish getting everything ready. We'll look at what I'm bringing, and then we'll start fishing. All right, I've guzzled 2 things of water just to fully hydrate before I leave my case of water there. I got a good bit of water on here, but let's go through everything else. You know, I do have the hammock, the thermarest, the bug net, the rain fly, some food. I got a bunch of camping stuff in this watershed dry bag up front. I got a second one with more food back here. The camo one here, this is my camera bag. Let's see, I got 6 rods, 2 forward, 4 facing back, the soft plastics, more water. I got some goodies in here. Look at this. I picked that. In fact, I'm gonna put that up front. Picked that from our farm, some sweet corn. I'll enjoy that before too long. 2 batteries, because I'm going to be out here a day and a half. Like it was going to be 2 days, but it's afternoon already. Today's half over, but you know, I'm just going to put in here and motor up, and at some point I'll pick a spot, and I can pick any number of spots to put this thing. This is the drifter hammock, and I got it lashed in there. That's really just the poles. I do have some rain gear in here, and I got an onion sack for my trash. Got that one out in Missouri. Obviously all my tackle. I think that's it. So, you know, I'll have a good, I'll say day and a half, but an overnight. I've been looking forward to doing this sort of overnight on home water after doing it in Missouri. So, but yeah, let's lock up the vehicle and put it in the top lot. I'll know that everything's secure in that I'm leaving behind, which isn't much, in the gearboxes. And yeah, let's get on the water, go catch some fish. Caught my first stick fish, and there's a lot of grass. So whatever this little rise is, I mean, I'm skipping it deep into shade where there's log jams, and now I feel like I need to have a more noisy bait. I do have that, I do have the billy goat there. Yeah. Let me get that out. That, or where I kind of left off last time on the Susquehanna, throwing the jackhammer. I haven't re-rigged since then, and it kind of matches up pretty nice. Yeah, I got some fish on this. Just flopping feet, might call them up. We'll see. Let's billy goat them. I do have a follow-up bait of the 5-inch scented jerk shad, and it's right here. I gotta get just a little bit of line hanging off, but like that finessey, I even put eyeballs on that one. See it? Nice gold eyes. Yeah, maybe putting that in some log jams. We'll see. But for now, I'm just working the bank shade. in hopes that there's a smallmouth that comes out from underneath all of this grass that's piled up on whatever wood is down there and sees it as a easy terrestrial meal, something scurrying across that's an easy grab. Oh, here's one that just swatted at it. There's a little slurp. Okay, I'll let that one go to the bottom. Reel this one in. That's going to the bottom. And that worked. GoPro, start recording. That is way too loose. Yeah, so basically the fish showed itself with the lets you breathe, with sloping and swatting at the top water bait, the billy goat, and then I threw the follow-up bait, which is the scented jerk shad, down in there, and he was tuned up. He was excited about it, but he liked to eat that bait. I waited too long. He's got that kind of deep. I'm gonna cut that off. Turn it around, come in from the bottom. I hate doing that. Alright, I will come in, let him breathe. He isn't bleeding or anything, but it's hooked fairly deep. Let my anchor down. Alright, so you can look and see how deep he's got it. My bad, dude. I'm gonna open this gill flap and I'm gonna turn the hook, the eyelet down so it goes through that gill arch. It's not good to touch these gills, but like I can't leave this hook in there. God, I hate starting a trip doing this. All right, turning it down, and it's coming through there, which turns that around, and then the line hangs down like this, right? And I'll hold that down, and then I can come in. It's rotated that hook 180 degrees. And then I can come in from the top and grab that hook, and then it comes out, and he is not in fact bleeding, but he is out of breath, so I'm gonna let him go. But yeah, I think that probably saved him. I'm gonna motor with him a little bit because I had him out for a little while. But yeah, that rotation, that was my bad for waiting that long to set the hook. I mean, you kind of have to do it with the follow-up bait. Maybe you don't have to. All right, I'm just motoring with him so he feels like he's ready to go. In this heat, they can get really gassed pretty quickly when you have them out of the water, and it helps to revive them, to run them with the motor a little bit. If they get a really deep, dark, oh, there he goes, he was ready. He pulled away pretty hard. If their tiger stripes get really pronounced, that's kind of when you know they're really stressed. But a good start. It's a good fish. Feel good about getting them back in there alive without this piece of hardware in his throat, without ripping it around and making him bleed a lot. He didn't bleed at all. All right, let's re-rig and keep working that pattern. So understand that was a dead sticked presentation of this minnow bait. right? It's the 5-inch scented jerk shad in I think the Shiner color, and it was dead stick because, you know, I threw it in there and I checked to see if he grabbed it right away, but I threw it in there and then I put the rod down and reeled up the other rod. So it went down and it just sat, and that is important in that that fish sat and looked at it for a little bit and it didn't move, and it said, I gotta eat it. So dead sticking flukes is effective. All right, I'm gonna keep it as a follow-up bait though, because I'd rather catch them on top water, or at least use it to locate them, or just catch them outright on top water. That was pretty cool. That was close to a log jam with all the grass. You can see the grass on it, and I feel good about, sorry, maybe you won't feel good about that belly flop I made you do, but I feel good about getting him back in quickly. Let's keep doing this. Yeah, so 2 fish pretty quick, and I barely left the launch, but what I'm gonna do with this hook and look is to show you that there's a whole lot of this river that's getting blasted with the hot sun, but that second one was tucking into the shade in the wood on that rock, and all that vegetation hung up on that piece of wood there. That's where the second one and the first one was down somewhere in this shade with that follow-up fluke. But it's shade, there is some current, wood, yeah, so shade, current, wood, and with the wood is the, you know, all of the vegetation that is piled up. There's a lot of that. It's not particularly deep. I could stand up right here, no problem. All right, we're coming up on the piece of wood that has the grass on it, and I'm probably close enough to cast at it right now. We'll see if I catch something, but we're gonna get close to it and look at basically how it lays out. I'm gonna cast above it, bring it right past it, looking for the swipe. I didn't really see anything. I just spooked a fish right there. He was kind of associated with that. I think I waited too long to make that cast, but we're gonna take a look. I'm gonna skip around in there, just see if there's someone else. But yeah, he was towards the end of it. Here's what the head of it looks like, and you can kind of see there's basically this big umbrella of shade. Not that it matters because we're in the shade, but you know, all of this stuff that's piling up, because this river has jumped up a little bit recently, is you know, is very good habitat, good place for them to hang out and be kind of shaded and look out around them, and they like being on that wood, and it's a good thing to target. But you can't throw a crankbait at it. You can't throw, you can throw a spinnerbait at it, but the thing that's going to get caught on it the least is this topwater soft plastic billy goat. So I pulled over to this side where it's a little bit muddier and it's a little bit less vegetation flowing down. I've been throwing I think it's a 7-inch Nessie, and one of the cool things about throwing a bait this size is you get to sit there and watch it and look behind it and see who's following it, and there's a lot of fish that will follow this bait. and where they were when they started following it. I had one swipe at it. I didn't feel the hit, but it was an aggressive maneuver. I'm still catching grass here and there, but I don't know. Just figured there's less grass here. It's worth giving it a couple throws. I still have faith that this can be a big fish bait for me for these river smallmouth. I feel like I have not figured out the nuances of the presentation that make them eat it, like commit to it. You don't need to bring out like pots and pans and water and a cooler with butter and salt and pepper to enjoy this. It's already perfect. Okay. Back to this. Who else wants to eat? Surely somebody else thinks it's lunchtime. GoPro, start recording. GoPro, start recording. Oh, that's sort of fun. That's a for sure confidence builder. Not a giant, but man, you get someone that wanted to eat that. Pretty cool. Very cool. Yes. Alright, first Nessie fish. The Juanita on the 7. Pretty cool. Yes. Let's do that again. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, out in the middle in these ledges. Ah, yeah. That's a Nessie fish. Good Nessie fish. Get in the net. Okay, you can relax there. We're gonna keep you over away from your friends. That's fun. This is working. All right. Yeah, it's a tall fish, and it's no giant, but he's a nice fish. Look at this. I'm gonna take this out. I'm gonna take a look at you, and I'm gonna let you go. Man, this, you know, it just feels good because when I was in Oklahoma, I fished this bait a lot with like finally catching one, and got a couple so far. So he's 16 3/4. It's a good one. We'll go ahead and release him in the shade. He's already kind of revived because I kept him in the net and brought him over. So I wonder how many fish you can catch on these things before they just disintegrate. That's already kind of starting to come loose there. I don't know, for what they cost. They're like $11 or so. All right, hook and look time. Just out in the middle. I mean, I can see some ledges running this way, and as you get to the other side, there's a little bit more depth, and like right here, it'd be kind of waist deep for me. Somewhere in the middle, it actually gets a little bit shallower, but this is all water that's moving really good until you get over there, and there's a little bit more depth, and that's where that fish was, where it transitions from like waist deep to a little bit deeper right out here in the middle. So he was just probably down in one of those ledge trenches, and you know, the attention getting thing is this big bait just kind of going splat, and everything looks up at it, and you know, he wanted it. That's cool. You know, it's in many ways a maddening bait to fish when you can see. This is my retrieve, by the way, just pretty steady. When you can see a big fish following it and not eating it, but the ones that have ate it, I didn't see them coming. They were just on. Yeah, that's a ledge trench. I can see it there. So I'm in grass, these little grass patches, and normally summertime, low, clear, you make these long bomb casts. I don't do that when I'm in the grass because, for one, they probably can't see you because their head's down in the grass, but for two, the most effective part of the retrieve is immediately following the kaplunk, where they look up from the grass. Their head comes up from tucked underneath, and they say, what's happening up there, right? And the shorter the casts you make, if you can get away with them, which you can in the grass, the more casts you make. Multiple short ones. I do the same thing in muddy water. That was a follower. I didn't eat it. So don't always think, oh, I just spooked one underneath me, and one of them tapped it out there without fully eating it. I think part of the nuance of this is getting your speed just right. I'm new to it. I'm new to this bait. So I think if you burn it, it rolls up on its side. If you're too slow, they can mouth it and it's not advancing forward, so you don't get the points. You don't get hooked. There's one following it, and then, oh man, I let off on the throttle. Maybe he heard that change. As soon as I let off on the throttle, that's a big one. Let's see if the follow-up will get him. Okay, got a good one. Oh, yep, that is a good one. I had one swat at it and then miss it, and then this one right in there. Okay, yeah, that is substantial, big fish. I missed one, and then I had, this might have been the same fish, on a subsequent cast, come up and get it. That's a nice fish. Very cool. Let me hook this guy, move him away from what might be a concentration of big fish. We're gonna wet this. Be nice to you. You're 19. Yes. Yep, you're 19. You're just a hair over. Yeah, 19-incher on the Nessie. Yes, Nessie. This was the shady shoreline that I worked up and didn't really get anything going, but once I got up towards that little riffle, pretty much right in the center of the screen. I just cast out into the middle, and I think it was a taper up from, well, I think there's probably some deeper water right below that riffle, and as it starts to gradually come up is what I think that I saw when I was in there. Yeah, I'm back up to where I caught that fish and kind of cast out into the main part of the current. That's the feature. There it is. It's another ledge. The ledge with the big boulder on it, it's exactly where that fish was. Just like at 16 3/4 that I got, the first good one I got with the Nessie. I've not been peeing. I gotta keep drinking till I'm peeing. Look at this grass coming down. This floating free says that this river might still be rising. This is the first of a bunch of islands that I identified on Google Maps and said, you know, maybe this is where I camp. It's pretty miserable and covered in poison ivy and steep, so I don't think so. So this is a good bit more grass than I'm used to fishing for river smallmouth. It's pretty cool though. Now it means we got a healthy river here, and you know, the billy goat just makes sense in this. Get you follow up fish. Come on, eat that. Nope, not gonna. Oh yeah, oh, we had it. You want the big one I just missed. There's a rock right there, which is where that fish was from. And I think a lot of times it's the one spot where it's not grass that it has some other interesting feature there that they tend to like. I got a channel off on my right here. Let's see if someone's down in this channel wants to come up and eat a billy goat. Who wants a goat? We're gonna have a goat roast. Who's in? Goat roast. Goat roast. Eat the goat. Eat the goat. Eat the billy goat. Gargle, gargle, gargle. Yes! That's how we wanted it to go down. That's a good one. Alright, because I'm like flowing through all this. I don't want to waste it. So there's a whole lot of it matted up like that up close looks sort of like that, but then the fish that I missed was in this open spot here, but it's really just a channel working through, and that channel is, there's one there and then there's one close. don't know. Can you look down and see where it channelizes? That's what I'm gonna go target. Is, you know, you got the matted up close here, and then there's a channel in between. I'm gonna go put the billy goat there. Goat meat is delicious. Eat the goat. Yeah, that one's good. That one's got some staying power. Man, that's fun. God, this is fun. Are you having fun? I'm having a lot of fun. He's shaking his head no, as if to say he's not having fun, but I'm having fun. I got a narrow channel right there. So much of it is like how you position in relation to it. Right now I'm moving up into a narrower channel, and my motor has enough depth that it can get through here where I'm at, but with most of it I've had to paddle to get into position. Sort of on one edge of the grass bed here. I'm in the big channel on one side, but I did better when I dove into the middle, into the little channels, little lanes. Anywhere that it gets constricted, I feel is better chance of one smashing it. As I was saying, the little stuff. It's the little stuff that makes the difference between fishing and catching. This little stuff is narrow channels instead of broad areas or just patchy grass. I got a narrow channel right up here. Let's look at an illustration of what I'm talking about with a top-down illustration, so you understand what I'm talking about. The major feeding areas in this grass bed are the narrow lanes, narrow chutes of water. I got one right here, but let's look at an illustration before I catch the next one. All right, when I first came up here, I was in this real wide lane right here, and I was picking off fish, you know, right along these edges. But as I, got into fishing it more, and I really have to dive the kayak right into the middle, it was these more constricted, narrow lanes that were holding what I'd say some of the better fish or the better bites. They were throughout this, but as it sort of braided into these little channels, it seemed like the narrower they were, the more they had forceful flow coming through each of these grass beds out here in the middle. And mind you, these are, I drew kind of a border on it to kind of show this is the part that I can see above the surface. The whole area has grass, and there'd be a few places where there'd be bare bottom, where it'd be kind of a rocky, gravelly bottom. That was good too. But for the most part, the narrower the channel, the more aggressive the fish were. They were in there with purpose to eat. Now, this map is going to come up again in the next episode, which is actually the next morning, where I fish here again on the way back down through. But the overall concept is, in these grass beds, these narrower chutes with more forceful current were better feeding positions for this top water, throwing the goat toads or the billy goat through this area. Narrow channels were better for whatever reason. Hopefully that made sense, but this one is pretty narrow choke point right out in front, and gurgle, gurgle, gurgle. Should be right in here. All right, came over to this shoreline, try to find that hard bottom I was talking about in the grass, and yeah, I got it here, and a nice one that likes the goat. All right. Nice. So many that size, 15-inch range. See, guys, such a great fighting size. Oh, all right. That's closer to an adult. There's an adult with it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that was a big one with it. That was a 20. Oh yeah. You're not 20. Did you lose my bait? You did not. That's amazing. That doesn't usually happen. I don't even see it floating. All right. It's a rare instance of losing a... I don't even see it. All right. I should take the occasion to retie. All right, got a freshie here. We're gonna split the legs in through the nose, center it, out through the chin. You bring it up to that little grip pin. This is a Mustad grip pin hook, EWG. I think this one's a 4/0. I'll use them up to 5. The pop shads, if I can find a 6, I'll use the 6. But yeah, that's the rig. Ooh, I see one moving right there. Freight train coming. It is fun when you get to see the wake of the fish coming at it. I think I'm on beach here. Check out this island. See if this is a good spot to camp. There was some signage like that. So clearly people do camp here pretty frequently. And all this is cleared. Let's see what this sign says. Yeah, cool. That's exactly what this is for. It says register here. That's pretty cool. This is a link. Alright. And then that just says dirt. Yeah. Alright. I think this will work. I think I'm gonna take a few minutes to set this up, then get back out there and catch the dusk bite. But it'll be nice to have everything ready when it is dark. let's take a look at what we got so far. It's the drifter frame. That plus on the inside of the bug net, that's the hammock. Those two together are $300. You get them both from Boonedox. The bug net I got from Eno. It's got this little bar that goes across that kind of keeps a good peak here, and this right here is a rain fly. I don't know if I'm going to need it, but I'm going to go ahead and set it on there. I just figured I'd show you everything before I put the rain fly on there. For now anyways, utilizes the peak of the bug net. Straighten that out. Just tuck both of these in. That'll keep me dry. I will tell you, I probably will want to sleep with this pulled back like that for some airflow. Got it all staked out, and with it wide like that, should have some pretty good airflow through there. Yeah, one little rule. I'll grab my tripod here. We'll hop back in there and get back to fishing. But when I come back here, that's sort of in a low spot. Here's the high spot. This is where my boat needs to stay tonight, so that if they do release a bunch of water out of the dam way up there at Raystown, my butt gets wet as an alarm clock for get up, start moving, and get to your boat, which is on higher ground. I'll say don't ask me how I know such a rule, but you know, there's a video on that with Jameson and Chris Funk, and yeah, they released the dam down in Alabama, and we got a very rude awakening, and it could have killed us. So where you sleep, boats on higher ground. That's it. All right, before I shove off from camp there and head upstream to explore, really to find some really good spots for me to fish in the morning, let's take a look at where I'm at with the Torpedo. I brought 2 batteries. I've only used a third of the first one, and really that's because I advanced upstream pretty slowly. I just fished everything as I came to it, and when you do that, when you explore in that manner, these batteries last so long. Like, I think I only really pushed it hard coming up through some of that white water. Yeah, right here at camp. Nice. Yeah, life's good. Pretty good? Yeah, pretty good. Okay. You ready to go in this net? No? Nope, you're not. Keep going. Relax. Relax. Some really pretty stonework on this bank. I think there might be a canal or something up there. Definitely people worked to create a wall right here. Very cool looking. It's a long, nothing looking pool with you know, the outside bend with that rocky wall was productive, but the rest of it has been not a whole lot of targets. That one came off of some wood. Put the jackhammer on and that feels like a better fish. Big white jackhammer. Solid. Alright, another nice one. I've moved up to where there is some current at the head of a very long pool, and that one was in some of the stronger current, and I switched from the Nessie to the noisier jackhammer in dirty white with a big old 7-inch scented jerk shad. Give it a bigger profile. So you can see this disturbance. That fish was just on the upstream side of it, and when I got close to it, it just loaded up. Alright, I think I've gone up another 1.5 miles, maybe even 2 miles, and it's on its way to being dark. I come back into the mountain right here, which is kind of a change in I don't know how this is laid out. I've definitely been in a wider valley thus far, and I'm thinking through what I'm doing tomorrow. Am I going to continue up here, or am I going to, I don't know, turn around, go down past the launch? I mean, I got a full day, and this battery has 56%, and the other one's still at 100. Got a lot of hours and a lot of river that's accessible, so I don't know. It's a nice thing to ponder on my trip back down to the hammock. I'll probably finish in the dark and see if I catch any more out here. Throw in the jackhammer and the billy goat as it gets dark. There certainly have been a lot more, I don't want to say slack water pools, but definite, pools where the foam isn't flushing out really quick. We do have current, so it's not that it's super low and there's no current movement. It's just these are big, wide, deep pools that, don't have a lot of gradient. coming into camp. Alright, like I mentioned before, I've dragged this up to higher ground. I think I'm also gonna get my anchor way out. Alright, a couple little housekeeping details before I go to bed. I'm using the that little plug there. They used to give you these standard when you buy a Torpedo Ultralight. Now it's an accessory. I still have that plug. It goes into the charging outlet and it becomes a USB that is powerful enough to charge your phone. So got my phone on a charge. Here's all my food. So you got to get it up in a tree. I got a strap here, and because the raccoons are definitely going to want to be interested in all this stuff. So I will loop this up, and for sure in bear country, which I could say we're in bear country, but you want it up. It is also a good idea to check the gauge closest to the dam upstream. Looks like we've been dropping most of the day, but we did get a little bump. Must have been a little thunderstorm or maybe even a mini dam release above us. But, you know, as long as we don't see this thing going straight up and know that, you know, all of this right around here is going to be water in a few hours, then we're in good shape. So I also checked radar, and we're actually in the clear tonight. There was a risk of storms, and it looks like none of them have really manifested. That's it for this day on the river on the Juanita in this episode, and I'll wake up here and got a topwater on a rod ready to go as soon as I wake up, and film the next episode starting right here tomorrow. Thanks for watching. See ya.